Hello and welcome to another update video about VeChain. VeChain is heading lower after it broke this 5-cent support level, as I talked about in the last video. In the last video we were just above the 5-cent level. We talked about this being also a psychological level. It's a round number, but that I would believe it is going to break, and that it was based here on this pretty ugly head and shoulders that was forming here, and the fact that at the time I made the video, the candle was already below all these wicks. I mean, not below the wicks, but at the same level of all the where those wicks here ended at 5 cents. And in the end, all these candles here in the end of January, they all closed above 5 cents, way above. But the candle here was already coming down very impulsively, made a lower high, made a lower, well, not the lower low yet. We now have the lower low compared to the previous one, but the way the chart and the price came down here, especially after it broke now 5 cents, we're heading further down anyway, but it indicated selling momentum, right? We also saw the indicators turning red here. The MACD on the daily already printed a bearish cross, and as the price could not move outside of this channel here, you've got a beautiful descending channel here on the chart. As the price failed to do so, yeah, there was only one direction really, which is to the downside. And we talked about that the support level of 4.5 cents is probably going to be seen. And I mean, we are now at 4.5. That support level is actually at 4.4 or 4.3. And that is the low here of that wick from the 24th of January. Okay. But if you take a look at how this chart is looking like, when we had a long wick here to the downside, that wick is now currently getting filled. And while this was only a short wick within a day, you can see now that over various days we're heading lower here, and there is not such a good chance as back then that we are seeing a strong reaction. So what I think is going to happen, we're probably finding a little bit of a reaction to that 4.4 cent level, because VeChain is now getting oversold again, especially after such a strong move down here, possibly going to retest once more this resistance line. And what then can happen, I mean, overall you could see this also as a whole big head and shoulders thingy here that is forming, something like not that beautiful like that, but it doesn't matter in the end. It just means we're making another lower low, and you're gonna maybe retest that, and then you're gonna head down to that lower support line here at 3.3 cents. That is where I would expect the price to land, and also for the price to do a turnaround. But how fast we're dropping, I can't say. I think that also depends on how fast Bitcoin is dropping now. But certainly there is no strength in the chart. Hasn't been here throughout this whole downtrend. Pretty much moving down nearly a straight line. You know, nothing moves down in a straight line, but it is moving down strongly. And so far we have hit the target area that we talked about back in November. And yes, you know, a lot of people say this all has to do with the conflict in the Ukraine, and I think it accelerates it. Oops. But I mean, back in November, we didn't have any news about Ukraine, right? At least there was no focus on it. And I still define that target area here for the price. And that is all based on what markets normally do. It's a young market. It retraces back to these levels with the highest probability. That is what new stocks and shares do as well. I just want to communicate that this is nothing, because I had a few comments about VeChain being a dead coin. This is nothing to do with VeChain being a dead coin. I showed you all the partnerships in the last video. There's a lot going on there, and this is just a normal market move that a young market has to make. We just have to have these retracements to build a foundation for new moves to the upside and new all-time highs. Nothing to worry about in my view. The 3.3 cent level should hold. If it doesn't hold, I think the next key support will be here at 1.3 cent. Now, I don't think that's going to be realistic. That is the wick here down from early in January 21. Now, I don't think we're going to see that, but the possibility is always there, you know. But even after that, you're going to see much higher prices. And for the next major wave up, I do expect levels certainly above 45 cents, yeah, maybe 55. So, and from where we are now, that would be a 10x. That would be the next major wave up, and that can happen quickly. That can happen like it did here, all right, early in 21. So I do actually expect the next wave up to be similar like that one, obviously only stronger. And someone actually shared So that's about that, right? That's about that. Someone actually shared, I saw it briefly on my, here in the Telegram group, yeah, this VeChain Ethereum chart. And what is quite interesting is actually these 3 peaks and how you go, or 4 peaks, how you can define a beautiful uptrend here on the VeChain ETH chart. I mean, probably definitely these 3 you can connect, and very, very interesting, right? And see where we're hitting support now, and yeah, you can guess where the next one might be heading, right? Up there somewhere. So it's looking interesting, that that VeChain Ethereum chart. Certainly let me know what you think about that VeChain Ethereum chart. I thought I'd just give you a quick update about the VeChain chart, because it is looking quite depressing at the moment, but overall we are basically at a point where a lot of people are losing interest, and that is always what you're looking for. Actually, that's where people are exiting the market, people are losing interest, prices get very attractive. But again, that's no financial advice and no recommendation. It's only my view and my views here. And I have started to dollar cost average into VeChain at these prices. Pretty much at the moment a no-brainer for me personally, but again, what you do is up to you. But I think even if we drop to 3.3, I mean, the current prices, given where the next projections for VeChain are, and it is a solid project with solid partnerships, I think it is a bargain. Yeah, that is just my view. Find it really, really interesting. But yeah, by all means, you can also wait, of course, for lower prices. But these don't necessarily need to come. There is never a guarantee. But I think with a fairly high likelihood, we're going to see those lower prices. And my primary expectation would be a price level of 3.3 cents before we continue to start to move up here again. And you can see it on the VeChain ETH chart that this can happen fairly quickly. Yeah, especially here back in February 21, that was a fast move up, okay? Very fast. And so these moves up can happen very fast. And you can actually see, and it's a very good picture here. I mean, that's VeChain ETH now. But this is typically what happens. You have a fast run to the upside, and then you have long corrections. And that is typically what happens. And that's when people get bored, yeah? Because many people only get interested when the market is moving up, and then they buy up here, where it gets interesting. But actually that is when you should stop to lose interest, yeah? You should be interested down here. You should stop to lose interest up there. But that's only my view. Hopefully you liked the update about VeChain. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, maybe consider to check out the channel membership. You can do that on my website, and the link is in the description, or here on YouTube. That allows you to get access to Telegram, Discord, and a weekly live stream, or depending on what kind of membership level you get. Then you get access, additional content, just more crypto content. And yeah, and so on. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.